Welcome back to another episode of The Angle. And again, Sean Caldwell right here beside me, breaking down football,
Love
right?
it.
I know you do.
I
You're
love it.
you're a you're a football guy, always have been,
Yeah.
drawing up plays at 13, 14 years old,
Yeah.
going in, talking to the coaches. It's always been something that you've dreamed of. Now you get a chance to share that knowledge with the people. And today, interesting topic today because it's a hot topic in a lot of ways. It's the Arkansas quarterback situation, but it's also about one of the most heralded quarterbacks and really players in the state's history. I have said that Kane Archer's high school career is the greatest high school career in Arkansas football history for a quarterback. I think that you can name him up with some of the biggest names that have ever been: Basil Shabazz, Madre Hill, all those guys. But notice you can name other people throughout that have had a high impact. But Shabazz went on and played minor league baseball, but Madre Hill was a great impact for the Razorbacks. There have been plenty of others throughout.
McFadden,
McFadden, obviously, Tyler Wilson,
Peyton Hillis.
Peyton Hillis. I mean, there are plenty. Marcus Monk, guys that have had a huge impact on Arkansas. That's just these guys. They're guys from way back, that we're not even touching the space of. But with that said, not a lot of quarterbacks to be named. Tyler Wilson is one of those quarterbacks
Hmm.
that is named, and Kane and him went to the same high school, and so there's a bond there between those guys. But Kane had the better high school career than what Tyler Wilson had, just as far as the numbers go. The interesting part of all of this, and what has been confusing to me and to several others, and including Kane, who I have sat down and talked to on multiple occasions now, is why isn't Arkansas taking him? He's basically begging Arkansas, Arkansas, Arkansas. And now, he's off to another college, which is Utah, which is a great program.
Hmm.
And, he may get out there, Sean, and think, well, maybe I'm glad that Arkansas didn't take me because I'm out here in a much better place. But with that said, people around the state want to know, why isn't Kane Archer a take for the Razorbacks? So we're going to break that down today.
Okay, and I'm with you. I've got the opportunity to coach against the kid several for 3 years in a row now, and I've seen him at 7-on-7s. I've seen
Hmm.
him at team camps. I've stood right beside him at seven on
Yeah,
seven, and he literally look at me and say, "You may throw a touchdown on this play." And I was like, "Sure, why not?" And he
right.
would. And I mean, the kid is he's a talent. He's a very talented kid. I think his intangibles outweigh his physical attributes sometimes. But when you think about the SEC, I mean, how many guys right now in the SEC can you say that about? Diego Pavia. Give me one of his intangibles or one of his measurables that's going to jump off the NFL boards.
Right, they're not. And he lists himself at 6'1". That kid is not 6'1".
No,
I
he's
mean, you saw him at the Heisman. You saw the pictures between him and standing amongst the other guys.
yeah.
He looks like he's 5'8", 5'9". He doesn't look that big.
Right. Gunnar Stockton, which quarterback for Georgia, which I think there are similarities between him and Kane Archer. I don't think it's necessarily the arm strength wise, but I think there's similarities with their builds and how they're physical and how they're fearless. Those are things that you just can't teach. But Pavia is another guy that very fearless. Pavia's arm strength is I'd say slightly above average.
Hmm.
I wouldn't say it would blow you away. Then you take into consideration a guy like Trinidad Chambliss. Now, Trinidad Chambliss, that's a different animal as far as arm strength.
Right.
That kid's got a gun for an arm, and very, very, very fast kid. But still not tall. You don't. Drew Brees would be an example of a kid that was a high IQ quarterback coming out of college, coming out of high school. Very low recruited, went to Purdue, played. exceptional football at Purdue, broke all sorts of records, ends up going to the New Orleans Saints and winning a Super Bowl after they traded him or after he got traded from the San Diego Chargers
Right.
because they were like, well, he's too small, he's too short, he's too this, he's too that. You know, measurables are great, but you can't measure the character of a kid, the heart of a kid, and what he can do. And we're going to get into some film today, and I'm going to show you some film of him that shows that he has the abilities. I mean, he has the arm strength. That can get it done. Where I think most people misinterpret big time quarterback play. They always think, well, the big time quarterback's got to throw the ball 50, 60, 70 yards. That's Patrick Mahomes. That's Donovan McNabb. That's guys like that playing at the NFL level that do that. But not every NFL quarterback throws the ball 70 yards. Do you think Drew Brees could throw the ball 70 yards when he was a NFL quarterback? I mean, maybe he could, maybe he couldn't, but I don't ever recall that he did. Most of your deep balls, your vertical shots, your hole shots to the outside versus cover two, your post routes behind the ear hole of of a cover three roll down corner and all that kind of, or roll down safety, all that stuff is based on timing, based on accuracy, and the ability to have an IQ to understand coverage. Most throws most quarterbacks are more successful understanding coverage than they are with their arm strength. Arm strength is a very good thing. Okay, don't get me wrong. Remember Ryan Mallett.
Right.
That dude could hang clothes on his on the balls that were thrown from his right arm.
Hmm.
I mean, but Tyler Wilson, another Greenwood product, by the way, was not known for his big time arm strength. He was more of a cerebral quarterback, and he knew how to manipulate coverage. And we had an 11-win season with that guy.
Right.
I mean, um, you know, the thing you get into with Kane Archer, we're going to look at the good, but we're also going to look at some of the things that he probably needs to work on, things that will get him in trouble, I guess, at the next level. If he doesn't get them corrected, which I believe in Kane Archer. I think he's a high class kid. I think he's a very good competitor. I love the kid's competitive drive, and those intangibles are great. But in when Coach Silverfield took the job, we had three quarterbacks: Grayson Wilson, Trevor Jackson, and um, uh, KJ Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, things have changed a little bit.
Right.
And I understand that there's a kid at Memphis, and I'm not a recruiting guy that's going to sit here and predict. I'm not crystal balling anything, but there's a 4-star kid that went to Memphis. His name was AJ Hill. He was 6'4". He was a top 100 player, I know for sure. I think he was top maybe 75 to 50ish range. He was a 4-star, very highly touted kid that they took at Memphis. He's in the portal as a redshirt freshman. I anticipate they probably would likely look at him bringing him in, regardless of however the quarterback room looked at the time. That would have made four. Okay. Well, now, or they were looking at a proven guy, a guy that's proven to push KJ. But now you're looking at Grayson Wilson's hit the portal.
Right.
Now you're looking at Trevor Jackson's hit the portal. The Arkansas quarterback room with Coach Cramsey is pretty, and Clint Trickett
Right.
is pretty slim now. It's just one,
Right.
and he's a good one. And we're going to look at some of the things that he brings to the table as well. But they're going to have to get active in the portal, and they may look back now and think, maybe we should have taken Kane Archer. Maybe that would have been one that we could have, because let's say they do get AJ Hill. Well, you get Kane Archer, now you've got three. You really need four. And with the expanded rosters coming in next year, I know the SEC has kind of said we're not doing the 105. If I'm Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the SEC is saying we're going to do like 95. Is that
Well,
right?
that's 90 to 95 is kind of what they're looking at least according to what we've seen with Trey Biddy and Danny West there
Right.
on 247 Sports. But I think you're hitting on all of the things that we're going to talk about. we are also going to break down what KJ Jackson brings to the
Mhm.
table. He's the only guy in the room, and I would say at least as of today, as we shoot this, he is the number one guy that they're going to be looking at because he's the only guy, obviously, but also because they have already invested in him. He came in and he said he was all in at the press conference with
Mhm.
Coach Ryan Silverfield. So now we feel like that at least KJ Jackson's going to get every shot. We have also broken down the things that he does, and I'll tell you, there's a lot to like about KJ Jackson.
Oh, absolutely. And KJ, prototypical size that you want, 6'4", what, 220-ish range. Got a very good arm. The thing I love about KJ Jackson, that is the intangibles. I'll go back to it. I think I mentioned it in one of the other episodes, but when he walked to the sideline against Texas and we were down 50 something to 30, and they went and handed him that championship belt when
Hmm.
he ran that ball in, he pushed it away. He didn't do it in a way that he was showing up his teammates or anything like that, but I seen him push it away. And to me, that's a big deal. I know that don't sound like a big deal, but when a guy does that, and then he's the first guy, him and Quincy Rhodes, which is going to be the leader of the defense. Those two guys were the first two guys that got on board and said, Coach Silverfield, we're all in. They showed up to his press conference.
Hmm.
I think that's a big deal. And I think that's a guy that you can build with. And like I said, we're going to break that down because right now it's a pretty simple breakdown for this show because there's
Right.
just one quarterback in the
Exactly.
room.
We do think that Arkansas will obviously bring in other quarterbacks. I think what we're going to do as the transfer portal kind of breaks down, Arkansas starts landing people, we will start kind of giving you the breakdown of what we think. Today is an interesting day because we're breaking down a kid that's probably not even going to be at Arkansas, at least right now, as we know it. But again, he's a kid of consequence here in the state, and we want to just kind of take a look at that. So, right now, what we're going to do, we're going to take you to our breakdown of Kane Archer and what we think Arkansas could have done should he be a take? Should he not be a take? We'll talk about that after you watch this breakdown of Kane Archer.
All right, so this was against us last year, our playoff team. We're at Greenwood, and I said last year. It's actually the year before. Is year before now because this is 2026. But so this is going to show another one of those moments where if you question Kane Archer's arm strength, this is a this ball is thrown on a string, and once again. While I always love watching him throw the deep ball, it's not going to go 50, 60 yards. But when he does throw it, he throws it with great accuracy. And, we talked a lot about KJ and some of the things that he does with quiet footwork. Well, Kane's a lot of the same kind of quarterback as far as quiet footwork. Now, this ball right here is just gets to the outside. Of course, this is the coverage bust a little bit. But as you see, he steps in right here and delivers this football. This is when most people are going to throw your deep ball. It's going to be when the receiver hits the 10 to 15-yard mark. He's setting to throw, and then he throws him. And as you see, there's no breaking stride here. That ball was an easily 35 yards in the air on a string, no slowing down. He didn't have to change his route. He didn't have to come back to the football. He just throws this whole shot right here. Of course, the corner was supposed to carry him, but he gets his eyes inside. Looking at the flat route, but when the flat route was covered. But anyway, he beats him on the outside, takes the vert, and as you see, this ball is perfectly in stride. I mean, you cannot throw the ball any better than that. I mean, you just can't. You can sit here and say, Jared Allen would make it look different in the NFL, or Patrick Mahomes, but to me, this is a same thing you'd see from a Diego Pavia. I mean, it's no different. There's nothing about this that makes me think he doesn't belong at the Division One level. Now, here's the thing: you can say what you want. Utah is a very good football program. When Whittingham was there, and of course, I understand with the OC situation and everything, things could be changing. I don't know, but Utah is a very good program. UCF is a good football program, and he had an opportunity to go there he came before he went to Utah. Now, Big 12, SEC, I get it. But I mean, it's not like the SEC is just, has just a ton of quarterbacks this year. The top four quarterbacks, top three or four quarterbacks in the SEC, every one of those dudes are 6 foot or under, with the exception of maybe Arch Manning. But he got better as the year went on. But he was not one of the best ones. But when you look at Pavia, and you look at the kid from the Ole Miss. I'm drawing a blank. Trinidad Chambliss. When you look at him, you look at Gunnar Stockton from Georgia. Gunnar Stockton, when I watch him play quarterback, I see a lot of similarities in a Kane Archer. Now, Gunnar Stockton probably does have a little bit more velo on his football. He does. But there's a lot of similarities as far as the toughness goes. I watched Gunnar Stockton last night, and I was watching him play, and I seen him do some things that I've seen Kane Archer do. And I've seen Kane Archer up close and personal, and several times. And the kid is a weight room genetic freak. If you've seen him personally, his lower half is huge. This is a lot like Gunnar Stockton. When there was a clip where they got a zoom in on Gunnar Stockton sitting there, and his legs look like tree trunks. And I was like, that's a lot like Kane Archer. But again, when you look at this throw, that's a fantastic throw, fantastic football throw. Don't don't think for a second that the kid cannot deliver at a high level. Okay, so here is breaking down Kane Archer. Kane Archer here, this was this season against Shiloh. And one of the knocks on Kane Archer that so many people had was that he doesn't have the arm strength to make the big time throws to play at the SEC level. And I disagree with a lot of those critics that he doesn't have the arm strength. And I'm going to show you a few clips to kind of justify what I'm saying about this. So here is against Shiloh, and you'll see here. We're gonna pull this up. You've got a really good example right here. So Shiloh's bringing pressure. This is a straight man across the board, which Shiloh does a lot, and he sees the opportunity off the edge here, and you're going to see a great back shoulder throw, and this is just putting it in a perfect spot against one-on-one outside coverage. So again, let's look at this one more time. So he 13 beats the kid off the line of scrimmage, gets the fade ball to the outside. Now, Brad, this is an SEC throw, in my opinion. This Shiloh corner is a taller corner. He's not short. It's not like you're throwing over a 5'6" kid. I mean, this kid is an average size corner for an SEC team or a Division One team. I mean, obviously there's a lot of guys out there that's 6'2", 6'3", but this kid's probably 5'10", 5'11", in that range. So here we look at the placement of this football is the key. Okay, in football, you say to your receivers when you're teaching your receivers, you're teaching if you're even, you're leaving. Well, you also teach that to the quarterbacks. You teach the quarterback on a fade ball, if he's even, he's leaving, throw him open. And this is exactly what Kane does right here. He's got edge pressure coming from his blind side. Of course, they do a great job of slide protection. That's for a different show, different day. The one guy that they kind of leave free is the guy that you can see, or Kane can see to his face, but he's already got in his mind where he's going with this football. And what this concept does is this is a high level concept for any level of football. Right here, this slot receiver is taking, because he knows he's in man, he's taking this safety on a post route to draw him away from the one-on-one where he knows he's going to the outside. And so this ball placement right here is next level ball placement, and this is why I would have thought, and I was a proponent of taking Kane Archer as taking an opportunity to get him. And, we're down to one quarterback right now in the SEC. I mean, in the Razorback quarterback room. And we've seen KJ Jackson. KJ Jackson's a fantastic, I think he's got a lot of upside. But this kid right here throws really good football. And I'm going to tell you something. This is a high IQ throw. This is not just a good ball placement. This is a high IQ throw. He throws this ball to the only spot where his guy can make a play. And is a perfect throw in that situation, perfect placement. Ball is right where you want it. It's where the defensive back's not going to be able to make a play. And so that's a win, and that shows. I mean, what is this? This is this easy 31-yard throw. He throws this ball 30 yards easy. And, most people, there's a misconception out there about quarterbacks. They think, well, if you're going to be a big time elite SEC quarterback, you have to throw 70 yards. You do not have to throw 70 yards every single time. A lot of your balls, your deep balls, are going to be from 25 to 30 yards on the throw. Just about any time you have that. Now, you do see those guys that run those deep over routes, those deep post routes where they throw 35, 40-yard passes. But this shows that Kane Archer can throw a 25 to 30-yard deep ball with just about as good as anybody. Okay, so this clip right here, this just shows the IQ, the intangibles of Kane Archer. This is again against Shiloh, and you're going to see him use and understand the coverage, understand where the pressure's coming from, and this is just a hot throw. Okay, this is just throwing hot off the pressure. They're bringing an edge pressure, which Shiloh tends to do. This is a very typical Shiloh type of pressure. The end's going to go outside. They're going to bring the nickel inside, not all the way to the A gap, but they're going to bring him inside, and it's just a twist. A lot of people run this stunt, and this is not an uncommon stunt. But Kane, with the understanding that where it's coming from, he just throws right into the teeth of the blitz. This is just one example. I could have pulled 100 of these. This is just Kane being Kane right here. And you're like, well, coach, this is a 5-yard pass. You're right. It is a 5-yard pass. But as you see, because of the pressure, because of what they're doing, this Mike linebacker is buzzing to that flat area, or he's walling off number 3, if you will, taking that drop. And with that, he's got to get it out on time. If he's late, it's probably going to get broken up, but it's not. It's on time. And he puts it right now. The Mike has already seen. He's already buzzing out. And again, Kane's not panicking. He knows where the pressure's coming from. He's got his protection. So this is one thing you don't get in many high school quarterbacks. His understanding of where the protection is throwing into the hot. This is his hot. His protection is setting to the pressure. Okay. And so, with that being said, as he's eyeballing this pressure, he's going to make a very good, very short, easy throw. But again, this is IQ football. This is the kind of stuff that is next level stuff that I think is the separator of Kane Archer than your average, everyday, run of the mill quarterback. This is something that our quarterback for the Razorbacks this year struggled with many, many times. Just a simple, short, quick throw into a hot pressure and understanding where his protection was set to and how he was going to be able to do it. So this is, once again, just a great example of why Kane Archer is a next level quarterback. Okay, so this is a clip from the same game, and this is, we've talked about Kane throwing hot, talked about his ball placement, talked about his ability to throw the deep ball. Shown 3 clips of every one of those intangibles. I mean, I could literally sit here, Brad, and give you 150 clips of his IQ on the field. But let's look at this. Okay, so this is one of the things that he gets away with at times in high school football. that he's going to have to get better at the next level. And this is one of the knocks on him. And, this is something that while he is a good runner, and I think that he can scramble very well. We're going to play this live here, and so you can see, and I'm going to stop it when he kind of gets into a little bit of this. This is something I've noticed, and let me tell you, when we did our scouting reports on him, this was something that we always focused on. He steps up in pocket, but you're going to see, and you can see his looseness with the football. It's down here to his side, and I'll show you another clip. This is a better clip right here to kind of see. And again, some of it is just because he's so much better than everybody else, he gets away with it. But you'll see right here, as he is stepping up in the pocket, he already is committed to the run. He's already done that. He does this a lot. He will just carry that thing. I mean, he's 5 yards downfield now, and he's carrying that thing like a loaf of bread. I mean, one hand. Now, again, I get that, and you can see it still. I mean, we're now what 15 yards downfield, and look where that football is. This is a deal. Yes, he is in open space. Yes, we understand that, but he does this a lot. He did it against us. He's did it against a lot of people. This can get you in trouble in Division One football if you don't get this habit fixed. And this is a habit that has been now. As you see right there. I mean, you can see right here. He's making a move, but look at the ball security. Look how it is away from his body. And look right here. This ball is way out. An SEC defender, a Big 12 defender, they're going to get their hand on that football, and that ball's coming out. This is a deal that Kane is going to have to improve on at the next level. But this is something that has been a knock. And again, this is just one clip. We've actually forced him to fumble a couple years ago doing the exact same thing because we knew that he just is loose with the ball, and he always has been. This is something that he's going to have to get better at and improve upon. And I'll show you one more clip. This is the end zone clip, so you can really see it. How in traffic here he's just loose with the football. And it's not an unfixable thing, but it's one that I promise you, when he gets to whichever college he ends up at, which it looks like Utah, this is going to be one of the very first things they address. I promise. I mean, you can see that right there. That's a problem. That's a problem in Division One football. That's a fumble. I mean, that's a fumble there because you're not going to see the guy that's closing that has 4.4 speed that's faster than you. That you're not going to see him coming out of nowhere, or you're not going to see that lineman coming from behind you that runs a 4.6 and you stutter step and he runs you down. That's going to be the difference, and that's the thing that's going to have to be fixed. One of the things. Okay, so this one right here, this is one of those moments where you're going to see with Kane. This is probably one of those. I wish I could. I'm a big fan of the kid. Okay, I'm a fan of Kane, but this is one of those moments right here. He gets away with this throw, but this throw against man coverage. Now you're going to get this in the SEC. You're going to get man coverage, and or in the Big 12 where he's going right now. You're going to get man coverage across the board. Cover one, man free. This is very, very typical, especially within the red zone. But this is a ball that he throws this wheel route to the running back, and this ball should come out sooner than it does. He ends up getting away with it. The free safety, if this is Georgia, which the pants make you think it is, if this is Georgia, this is a touchdown, 98 out the gate. And as you can see this right here, I mean, as you watch this, as we illustrate this, right now, this ball needs to be thrown right here. Towards the sideline at about the 10-yard line, this ball needs to come out on a string. And you're going to see why. The free safety is late. But again, the SEC, if you're playing Georgia, let's say Utah right now, because he's going to Utah, let's say they get to the playoff and they're playing Georgia in the first round. Well, this is a touchdown for Georgia because this ball's thrown. Yes, he's open. This is man coverage. He's got him. He's not coming off his man. But you're going to see this free safety flash right there. And if that would have been going the other way, that ball's got to come out quicker on time. But again, these are habits that he's been able to get away with. This ball kind of flutters. It's not exactly just a step in and throw and a rip here. He kind of throws his as you see his posture has risen. He's not staying down in it. He's kind of come up in his stance a little bit and ends up kind of whipping across his body instead of delivering the ball on time with pace. And this is things that an SEC level quarterback coach or a Big 12 quarterback coach is going to get him to stay in right here, stay with his base, and rip this football to this outside because this kid, this corner, is not going to make this play. Now let's go back and you can see it here, and you can see how close this free safety is on this man-free coverage. Now nobody has him. Nobody has this back because they're bringing the pressure. So this guy would be typically in phase with him. That's his guy. That's this linebacker's key. Okay, but because he's bringing in pressure, they have to pick him up. Okay, if you will, with the free safety, and he does a good job of reading this like it's supposed to be read because he's throwing hot. This is a hot throw. Now, again, this free safety, God love him, but he's late. As you see this football right here, that's a dangerous throw. That's a dangerous throw. That's close to being a pick six. And so these are things that he's gotten used to. He's gotten away with it. Down the road, he's going to have to get that corrected. That's just another thing that it's not, and it's not a huge knock. This is something that's fixable, but as you see, he knows it's open. So what he knows it's open. So what is it? He relaxes with his mechanics. He gets relaxed in his mechanics and throws a kind of a back foot throw, and that makes the ball late. He can't get away with that at the next level.
Well, Sean, I think that number one, what we saw with Kane Archer, I don't think either one of us are surprised by that. He is a kid that we feel like that could have been a help to the Arkansas quarterback room. Again, when you're as thin as Arkansas is, no matter what, you probably should take him. But with that being said, he was a kid that could have helped even with a quarterback room that might have been a little more full.
You're right. And with Kane, the first thing Coach Silverfield did was come in, start pulling these Arkansas kids. Now, a lot of those were kids that he had recruiting ties and recruiting connections with, Eastern Arkansas, Central Arkansas. You know, he didn't get a new kid from Northwest Arkansas. Not saying that that he didn't know them or anything like that, but he was going where his ties are, where the people that he knew, and he pulled in what looks like a relatively small class with just 16 kids. But with a kid like Kane Archer, we've shown on the clips there's some good and there's some bad, but there is with everybody. I mean, you can do that with anybody that you look at. The thing that the thing that I believe, and I think Silverfield has the right mindset about this. I just think there's something about Arkansas kids putting on the Razorback uniform and playing in front of their home state fans and their home state family and just being a Razorback, man. That used to mean something. We mentioned in the intro guys like Darren McFadden, Peyton Hillis, Marcus Monk. You go Joe Adams, Jarius Wright, Greg Childs. We could go down. We could just keep going down the list. I mean, obviously, Traylon Burks had a pretty good impact
Hmm.
too. Well, you could go down the list. Those kids, it matters. It just matters more.
Right.
It matters more to a kid that does that than a kid that transferred from, say, Kentucky or
Hmm.
transferred from Tennessee or something like that. Not saying those kids can't come in and be good because obviously, you look at the success Indiana's having. Most of that roster is not from Bloomington, Indiana. Most of that roster is from James Madison at one point in time, or other places around the United States and other programs. But listen, Kane Archer is going to be a good quarterback at the college level. The kid is so smart. he's going, and we've shown just that one hot read. That's just a scratch in the bucket of the kid's intelligence. I mean, we could have done a 2 hour show today, and I could have pulled clips of Kane Archer, and we could have looked at his IQ and his reading of defenses and his understanding of protections. That's high level stuff. Okay. And I think that, I think a kid's going to, and I'm a fan. I hope the kid is successful. I hope he ends up someday back at Arkansas. The good thing about the portal, and there's not many good things, the good thing is there could be a day that he ends up back here once he goes and proves himself,
Yeah.
if that's what he has to do. But with that being said, that's just my thoughts on the kid. Is he going to be a miss for us? Who knows?
Right.
I mean, we can't predict that any more than anybody else can.
I agree. I agree. It's hard to predict. I mean, you've got a situation where the kid is as highly publicized. He's been out there from the time that he was a freshman
Yeah,
now until now, and here we are. We feel like that he's been a successful quarterback here in the state of Arkansas. Again, I say he's had the best career of the state, anybody in the state of Arkansas, and so it's hard to say, well, why don't you take a flyer on that guy? Just take a flyer on him and just see what he can do. But with that being said, like you said, the door is always open. I had this same talk with the TJ Hodges' kid and his dad, and just said, "Hey, don't burn any bridges." And I know that on that side, they're not trying to burn any bridges at all. So, with that said, we'll see what happens. Utah's, at least we think, at least right now, Utah has got a guy that's coming that way. And again, there is so much uncertainty around him. I feel for the kid. I
I
really
do.
do
I
because
do.
he committed to UCF, he committed to Utah. Utah was a landing spot for him, and then Kyle Whittingham leaves right then, and he had committed to Kyle Whittingham as his head coach, and then his offensive coordinator has now left and went to Michigan. So there is so much going on around him and so much uncertainty. And I know it for a kid that has been so highly touted and so highly publicized for so long, and a kid that has got so many major offers. This uncertainty is got to be kind of out of this world for him.
Yeah, and you got to think, if you're in his shoes, you got to think in your head, what do I have to do? I
Yeah,
mean, in my junior year, I set a national record, not an Arkansas record, a national record for touchdowns to interceptions. Through 50 something touchdowns to two interceptions.
yeah,
I mean, the kid's a competitor, man, and I am a fan. And everybody's like, "Well, you competed against the kid, and he beat your brains in for 3 years in a row." You're right, but I have respect for a
right,
competitor respecting a competitor. I mean, that don't mean I want to go and be like, "Hey, let's have another year of it," because let's move on.
right,
but
absolutely.
but I'm telling you, the kid's a good one. I'm a fan. I hope he does. Hope he has a great career. And don't think this might not happen. We're going to Utah this year. And who knows? Who knows if their quarterback gets hurt and we have to face Kane Archer? I guess we'll really find out then, huh?
Well, I don't know if you watched, but we gave him an award. It was like a lifetime achievement award, and one of the things that he said is, "They better not hope that I get an opportunity at week 2." That's what he said that. One of the things about him, he's a very competitive
Yes,
kid,
he is.
and he's not going to just sit there idly by and take it. That's for sure. And who can blame him? I'm not sitting here saying that I think that he should be vindictive against Arkansas, but when anytime you're a competitor and you get the opportunity, you know what I mean? You're going to take it. And week 2, he could obviously get that opportunity. I think they've got some experience in the quarterback room, but who knows? With all of the upheaval that's going on, he could go over there and end up being the starter right off the bat. I mean, it could happen.
A couple years ago, Utah played a early season game. I can't remember who it was. It was against an SEC team, and it was at Utah. and the SEC team was a highly ranked team,
Uh huh.
and Utah pulled an upset with a backup quarterback. I don't know if you remember that. It ended up being Connor
Yeah.
Rising, which ended up being their main guy for the next few years.
Right.
But when he was like a redshirt freshman. Nobody even knew who he was. He comes in and he goes and he beats, and I can't for the life of me remember who it
Yeah.
was. I want to say it was Auburn, but I'm not 100% sure on that, so don't quote me. It was Auburn or LSU, I think. But anyway, yeah, I remember that happening. I remember watching that game. It was an early season, like a week one game, and everybody's watching it, and
Hmm.
they beat them. And Utah's got a propensity to pump out some competitive, fiery quarterbacks, and he kind of fits that mold.
Sure, sure. Well, let's make a transition here because Kane Archer is not a Razorback right now, and as far as we know, he won't be this year. But what we do know is that we have KJ Jackson in the quarterback room.
Yes, we do.
And KJ Jackson is a guy that has a lot of talent. And, Arkansas is not devoid of talent there with him. And he looks like a guy, just a young guy himself, that could come in and make a difference for Arkansas. And so we've got some clips that we're going to talk about with KJ Jackson versus Texas and versus Missouri, where he got some extended time, some extended SEC time, and we're going to break down what he has done. And we want you to stay tuned because I think you're going to like what you see from KJ Jackson.
Okay, so this is a breakdown right here of KJ Jackson, and KJ is looking at one of those Bobby Petrino specials where they're running the deep curl routes with two flat routes inside. Now, we picked this clip because this shows his arm strength. Yes, it's a 10-yard throw, but he fits this in a window and it's on an absolute string. This was obviously this year against Missouri, and he got us started off right early in the game. And you can just see mechanically here kind of what KJ brings. Obviously, he's a lefty, so mechanics look a little different to most anybody because most quarterbacks being right-handed. But you see his footwork. He gets a good, solid foundation base and then just steps and rips. And, that is one of the things that, I think KJ can bring to this offense. I mean, when he just throws that route and hits him right in the face mask, that's perfect placement and exactly what you want to see for the next quarterback for the Razorbacks. Okay, Brad. In the second clip, we're looking at another throw from KJ that I really like, and he has a good chemistry with CJ Brown, which CJ Brown coming back will be another great addition for the Razorbacks. But looking at the quarterback situation here, this is just an option route, a choice route here for him and CJ combining, and so as we watch this, he takes the snap, he gets his eyes on the defender, and then of course being option route, it's always going to be a one man route. It's always going to be he's locking in on that one. But that's, as you see, perfect placement of the football, right on the face mask of C.J. Brown again, and then he's able to turn it up. And as we go back and watch this one more time, this inside choice route or option route here, he's got a three-way go basically, and KJ's just waiting for him to break. And as soon as he breaks with that one-on-one, KJ delivers an absolute bullet right where you want to put it. Great placement. This is another example of why I believe in KJ Jackson going forward. And great throw, great route. Let's look at the next one. Okay, so here is the touchdown that KJ threw in the Missouri game in that drive where he was absolutely in rhythm. What you're gonna see right here is you're gonna see him stick the ball right over top of a linebacker, right in front of the DB, and just throw a perfect ball to Omega Blake. And so out of this empty set right here, KJ has got his pre-snap read. He already kind of knows where he's going with the football, and you're going to see as Omega breaks in, this ball placement was literally perfect placement between two defenders. And, that's not an easy throw. That's a hard throw for most anybody to make, especially a guy that hasn't really played a lot of football in the SEC against a really one of the better defenses in the SEC. And again, great placement of this football. Let's go back and look at real quick his footwork. The thing I really love about KJ Jackson is KJ does not get sped up. Whenever he sets his feet, and I want you to pause this. We're going to pause this right at the top, right here. I want to pause this. Now you can see his set where his eyes are. He is keying that flat defender, and with that key, he's going to throw Blake open. But I love his footwork here. It's not panicky footwork. It's calm. It's very quiet footwork. And as you see, it just nice little step in with a guy bearing down on him, throws a perfect ball. And here's a little nuance that you might not catch. Just back it up just a shade. Um, this what you might not catch. He throws this ball away from the safety to the outside. If he throws this ball to the inside with the one high safety, it's going to get dislodged or possibly picked off. So he actually throws to that a backside shoulder away from the safety, which gives Blake the opportunity to catch football. Another really good example of why KJ Jackson could fit this offense extremely well. Okay, now, this was KJ getting into the game against Texas. It's always tough to come off the bench as a cold player, especially when Talon's been playing the whole season and you hadn't had a lot of reps. So let's take a look right here and see what KJ brings here against Texas. All right, so here KJ Jackson shows his ability to check down versus pressure coming right in hot off the bench. Mike Washington, sitting here running the little wheel route. He throws this hot into the pressure and, great ball placement. It looks like a simple throw. Obviously, it's not a simple throw. You have SEC speed bearing down on you, and you just come in off the bench. And he really does a good job right here of not getting happy feet. Let's go back and look at that one more time. It's real simple in this situation to get busy feet. And his feet really aren't. He steps into the throw, and I mean, he does about as good as you could possibly expect anyone to do coming in hot. And Texas did what most anybody would do: get a guy coming in off the bench. They're going to heat him up on 3rd and 7 and see what he does. Okay, Brad, as we look at this one, now this is a pretty good clip to see that because Texas is in a cover three. You don't see a lot of cover three, um, in the high levels of college football, but you do see a cover three right here, because the boundary safety is already pre-rolled down. So he's going to fit this post in right behind this boundary safety. And so this shows, again, his calm footwork. The boundary safety's taking the flat route or the swing route of the back, which is typical, and then the post just inside, he fits it. And as you see, there's no breaking stride right there. He hits it right where he want to hit it. It might be just a little bit low, but you're talking about a guy that just come in fresh off the bench, and he's having to see these bullets flying. And just go back one more time on this clip. I want to show you the perfect ball placement of a cover against a cover three on a post route right here. As you see right here, as the boundary safety has went out and taken this flat, the running back out in the flat. He puts the ball as you see, the ball's already out. It's already gone. He threw it right behind the ear hole of the boundary safety, exactly like you should do. And then again, Omega Blake with the catch and run, and good first down throw. Just another example of KJ Jackson with calm footwork, understanding the coverage, and delivering the football on time and on target. Okay, this is the very next play, and KJ's already kind of in a rhythm here, and we have a condensed bunch formation here to the right, and now you're going to be able to see he's going to throw this ball to Jaden Platt, and man, it's just a really good throw in a fairly tight window right here. But again, look at his footwork. Love how he stays calm, gathers himself, and look, he's got the underneath check down, but he sees the second level This is that drive route that you and I talked about in week one. This is the same thing in our first episode. If we go back and see it, this is just the drive concept. You have the underneath drag, and then you have the guy over the top. And so as this linebacker uh, starts to come down on the underneath drag, as you see he pops in the window right here. That's KJ's signal. I'm throwing over the top, and that's that drive concept that we talked about. That's the similarities between Coach Petrino and what Coach Cramsey and Coach Silverfield are going to do.
Yeah.
Brought this clip out because this is probably one of my favorite clips of KJ Jackson in the limited time we've got to see him. Now, you don't see after the play what makes him what I think could be a special quarterback. But this is an SEC defense, and you're going to see him make a play right here where he's just going to break tackles and show his ability and his athleticism to run the football in. And Texas is bringing an extra pressure, and then he's going to roll out. Well, it's not there. So what's he do? He checks back inside, not there, steps up, and is able to tuck the football right here and just turn into a playmaker, which, that's one thing that you're going to have to do in Coach Cramsey's offense. You have to show the ability to run the football. And, look at this, what I love. I mean, he's breaking tackles. I mean, the guy is a load at 230. I mean, he's able to break tackles and he gets in the end zone. And the best part of this play doesn't even get shown. When he scores this touchdown right here, he actually goes to the sideline, and they did the championship belt thing. Well, they will go to hand him the championship belt, and he just kind of pushes it away. He doesn't do it in a bad way where he's showing, that he's a punk or something like that. But he just steps away, and he's like, "Look, we're down 52-30. I don't deserve this right now. I mean, I just made a football play." And as you see, he's just stepping up right here, making a play, running through contact, running through play tackles. That's just a playmaker. And whether you have a called quarterback run in Cramsey's offense or it's a scramble situation in the SEC, you're going to have to be able to make plays with your legs.
Well, Sean, I feel like that what we saw out of KJ Jackson there is a guy that you can build off of. You don't have to be afraid, I don't think, of giving him the keys to the kingdom a little bit, And I think that I don't think that they're just going to hand him the role, but I think that again he's the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I mean, as of right now, he's QB 1, 2, and 3.
Right.
But the kid can sling it. That curl route that we saw, where he stuck it in on C.J. Brown's face mask, very good high level throw. I know you're like 10-yard throw. You go throw that in an SEC game and see how well it goes for you. It's not easy. It's
Right.
not as easy as you think. The choice route, the option route, C.J. Brown, where he hit him. That's a hard route to throw too, because the quarterback has to anticipate what the receiver is going to do. He did. They were in perfect sync. He breaks on it. Part of that is understanding the leverage of the defender, and he did that. He was able to understand that. Then he showed the ability to stick a football in there. The throw that he made to James Platt, excuse
Hmm.
me. And then you saw the post route where he busted behind him, where he throws the post to Omega Blake. And then, of course, he throws the ball that we saw against Missouri over the linebacker, in front of the safety, away from where the safety is. Very good ball placement. Kind of like whenever I showed you the ball placement, the Kane Archer, where he threw the ball to the outside on the ball placement on the play against Shiloh. Those are big things. Understanding the plays broke down. I've got to make a play, and I've got the ability and the strength and the size to make that play. Also big in SEC football, because I don't care how good Coach Cramsey is. Coach Cramsey may be the best offensive coordinator that we've ever had.
Hmm.
Don't know that. Don't not know that. We have no idea right now. He may be awesome. We may lead the country in yardage.
Hmm.
But there's going to be plays just like last night. I think Charlie Weiss Jr. is the best OC in college football. I just do. And he was calling plays for Ole Miss. And there was 4 or 5 instances where Trinidad Chambliss won that football game for them because the play that he called, the protection that he called, did not work. Georgia beat it, and Chambliss just made a play.
Yeah.
And that's what I see with KJ. KJ has the ability to just make a play. When that, I mean, you saw what I saw. Those Texas is not a bunch of scrubs out there,
Right.
and it broke down. He stepped up. He ran through a defender, which is not easy to do. And we saw a little bit of that against Missouri as well. The thing I love about KJ, and we saw it on every clip, he stands tall in the pocket and he doesn't get happy feet. When you got a kid that can do that, that's special.
Yeah.
It really is. Because when you got a 6'4" frame, why not use it? You know what I mean? Don't be 6'4" and throw it at 5'10". And if you're 5'10", don't throw it at 5'5". you
Sure.
know, you you want to be tall in the pocket. Now you've got to dip and you got to go hip to hip on RPOs, and we understand that on play actions. You want to have all that mechanically. You want to be able to ride and decide. All those things are great, but when it's pocket time and I'm throwing a concept like we saw the drive route where he fitted into Platt,
Mm-hmm.
where the linebacker came down on the under route, he throws the over. Those are things where standing in the pocket, not worried about what's coming from my backside or my front side, but worrying about what my read, and then firing and delivering. That's big time football. And KJ's got the ability to do that. Now, he's unproven other than maybe two halves of a game, because he played first quarter and third quarter against Missouri and played
Yeah.
the second half of against Texas.
Right.
So it's unproven. He's going to make mistakes. But I think SEC football, I think college football has changed. The landscape has changed so much. I think you'll agree with me. There's been a lot of first year guys that get the starting nod these days that's handed the football and have special seasons.
Yeah, no, I think that we've seen that through the transfer portal. You see it through some of the younger quarterbacks, but not as much as guys that are, older guys that come in and have that experience. KJ's gotten experience. We feel like that, we're fond of Petrino and what he does with quarterbacks, especially, and he has been tuteled under Petrino now for 2 years, so he's going to have that base, that foundation for Cramsey to come in and do whatever Cramsey wants to do with him. The question will be, can he fit into that Cramsey offense? We feel like he can, but until he actually does, we'll never know.
Well, just like in previous episode when we talked about it, Cramsey has said many times, and Coach Silverfield said many times, we fit our system to our quarterback. Okay, so what do you fit to this? How does that look? I think KJ's more of the West Coast pro style quarterback, whatever you want to call
Right.
that. I think that's more of what you're going to see based on what they've said and what we've seen on film, as opposed to the true Chip Kelly, spread it out all over the place, zone read everywhere,
Right.
the blur offense. And I just don't think that's the personnel they're going to want to do. And it never looked like that at Memphis. So I don't think you're going to see that here.
Yeah. Well, it's still yet to be seen.
Yeah.
I mean, we've still got a lot of off season to figure out. Obviously, Arkansas is going to bring in quarterbacks
Yeah.
into the room. Will they be able to challenge KJ when they get here? And there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered. We know they're going to be answered. I mean, we're right in the throes of it right now. So we feel like that, KJ's a good spot to start with. Quarterback room is empty. Besides that, Arkansas's got to bring some other guys in, but they've also got to bring in other guys as well. I mean, we're seeing a lot of people hit the portal now.
Yeah.
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, by scholarship breakdown, they're somewhere in that 60 to 61 range. So they got like 30 plus guys, and we're probably not done seeing all the guys hit the portal yet.
Yeah, and that's just part of the landscape of college football now. It's kind of an uncertainty. I am glad the NCAA did something and said, "Hey, let's just do a 15-day window."
Right.
I think that's going to cut down on some of it, but man, these next 15 days are going to be crazy. You talk about the they get to SEC media days, they say, well, it's talking season. Well, now when you got a 15-day portal window, it's becoming talking season now for that, and it's going to be an opportunity for guys like us to do a whole lot of shows because, man, this thing's going to get wild. And I don't know. I'm getting a feeling, and I don't have any inside information on this, but I'm getting a feeling that it's going to be kind of exciting, and we're going to see some things. Can't wait to break down some of these kids that we pull because I've got the ability to pull some film of some of these places,
Sure.
and I really want. I'm excited to see that.
Yeah, well, I am too. Well, I think that that's going to conclude this episode of The Angle, and hope that you've enjoyed what you've seen so far. And we've been trying to get through these holidays and just all kinds of stuff going on around us. But hopefully now we'll be able to throw out some consistent podcast here. Get you once a week, maybe if not quite once a week, real close to once a week, where we can really break down what's going on with the Razorbacks. And man, before you know it, Sean, it'll be spring practice.
Yeah, I know. And what's going to be cool is I hope Coach Silverfield does what all the other coaches have done for the past few years. I've had a lot of access to Razorback football, and if they do this year, I plan on really going up to see spring ball. I've been up there last several years, and of course you get to meet them all at the ARFCA, which that could be some pretty cool stuff to bring on the show as well when you get to see them down there. But I do hope that Coach Silverfield keeps that open practice policy, which I anticipate he will, especially in year one. It's good PR, and obviously these guys, so far, they're a whole lot more active on social media than the previous regime has been, especially when it comes to getting kids. I'm interested to see how they're going to handle commitments these next few days, the next few weeks.
Right. It is going to be interesting. So keep your eye on the Arkansas Sports Network as we will be breaking the news of the commitments. I don't even, at this point, don't, when they hit the transfer portal, unless it's a huge name, we don't put it out there. It's just the way the business is anymore. And so, but anybody that's coming in, we put that in because obviously they're coming in. We're going to know a little bit more about them as time goes on. So, it kind of is what it is when it comes to the transfer portal. But anyway, this segment and this episode, we're going to wrap it up. We say thank you for watching, and we'll look forward to bringing you more episodes here of The Angle.